Hey everybody, so today we're going to talk about how to do machine learning with .NET, specifically with C Sharp. And Microsoft's done a great job in integrating tools to allow you to do supervised machine learning within Visual Studio, and that's what we're going to do. And we'll have a fun little project here we're going to do to work on, and so if you'll just follow along step by step, and in subsequent videos we'll look at some different problems that we might solve using this technology as well. Just a quick review about machine learning, supervised learning specifically, and you can go watch the presentation on this on the other video if you'd like, but we always start with defining some objective, some problem that we need to solve. In this case, we're going to go after image classification, and I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute, but basically we're trying to identify, for example, a picture of a flower and a picture of a car, which one's the car and which one's the flower. And this is a pretty classic machine learning problem, but it's also pretty common. And you can have a lot of fun with it, and I hope that you find that as you work through this today. So the first thing we have to do is go gather some representative data to train our model with, and we'll prepare that data and then we'll train the model. Now Microsoft makes this really, really easy to do. Really, really easy to do. It's all integrated into Visual Studio. They take a lot of the heavy lifting away. The problem that we're going to look at today is one that I've done with Python, training my own model. And I can tell you this is a lot easier to do it this way. And then we'll evaluate the results, and you'll see that. And then if that's not good enough, we'll go back and get some more data. I'll probably skip that step just for time. But you do need to understand that you can usually increase the model performance by getting more representative data, but that's not always the case. And then you're going to deploy it and use it, and we'll actually see it running in a program where it can do a prediction. So we'll be able to give it two images, and it'll be able to tell the difference between those two, or it may not be able to, depending on how well we did here. And then we'll just, if we were running this for real, we'd monitor the model performance. So that's enough about the PowerPoint. Enough death by PowerPoint, so we will just go ahead and jump right in. The place to go is .NET.microsoft.com/app/machine-learning-AI/ml-.net, or in double quotes you can put ml.net and it'll bring you to this website. And what we're going to do is we're going to download and install the model builder, which is a pre-release product, but it looks awesome. So I hope that you have fun working with this. And so that there's some great videos up here that talk you through the different use cases and what the technology is. I'm just going to go right ahead and jump right in and download it. So this is a Visual Studio extension. And so it'll take it a few seconds here, and I'll probably pause the video so that you don't have to sit here and wait for the paint to dry on this download. So let me do that. Well, there you go. For you, that was a fast download. For me, it took a little bit longer, but let's go ahead and we'll just open this, and that will cause it to go ahead and find the instance of Visual Studio. I'm using Visual Studio 2019 Community Edition. You do need to have a relatively recent version of Visual Studio. I'd recommend that you just keep up with that, especially if you're learning. So again, we'll pause for just a moment and let it do its thing. Okay, and it's telling me that if I'm going to go ahead and install this, and there's a cross-platform development. This will the coding part, the command line interface to this will actually work on Linux and the Mac, but the model building plugin is only in Visual Studio. So unfortunately, that's not on all the other platforms yet. And at least this plugin's not available, or this extension. So again, we'll pause and come right back. Okay, all done. So it's installed that extension in Visual Studio, and I'll show you how to access it here in just a minute. You will notice this project is active. It is been out there for a couple of years, but it is an active project, which is awesome. I do recommend you go off and watch the videos and learn a little bit that way. What I like to do, they show me the videos, they tell me about how wonderful it is, and I like to go try it out on my own problems, so that's what we're going to do today. So image classification, remember we're going to have two images, and what we're going to do is we're going to do stop signs and yield signs. Okay, so a traffic stop sign and a traffic yield sign, and we're going to see if we can build something that can tell the difference between those two signs. So let's jump in. Let's fire up Visual Studio and get started. So let me close this out. Again, there's the URL, and this is the website. Again, go out, watch their videos. All right, and we are going to create a new project. And we are going to do console. We're just going to do a simple C#, a simple C# console app is what we're going to do right here. And we are going to put that in a particular location. Rather than watch me pick folders, hang on. We'll call this stop yield. Now, there's nothing particular about this thing I picked. You could do this. I've done it before with chihuahuas and blueberry muffins. Stop and yield signs, 2 different years of cars, 2 different types of cars. There's all kinds of things you can think of that you might try. So pick your own thing that you might do. You could do different faces, so pictures of one person or another. You could do male, female. There's all kinds of things you could do. So try it out. Let's go ahead and just create this. And it's not that actually that important that we create a console app. We're not going to do anything with this. You'll see that the tool is going to actually build its own console app, and we'll be running that. So what I'm going to do is right click on the solution and select add, and let's see. Okay, not on the solution. We want to do that here at this level with the project. So you select add and then machine learning. And this is where the cool part comes in. Up here it says, would you like to enable it? Yes, we're going to enable the ML.NET model builder. So we're going to go ahead and click that. And once we do that, then we're going to have to come back and do this again. Remember, this is pre-release stuff, so hopefully they get some of those kinks worked out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right. So the videos that are up there are a little bit older than what's being released right now, but we are going to do image classification. But you can see there's lots of different things here, and we're going to do some different videos on all of these because this is a fun way, an easy way to get into machine learning and have it actually do something for you without having to know all the ins and outs of things like neural nets. We're going to use a neural net, so that we're going to be using a neural net for image classification, and so that's great. So we'll pick this. Okay, so first thing you're going to run into is when you're doing anything with images and machine learning, it's always good to use a GPU, and I have one. Unfortunately, you have to have certain drivers installed. So you can click this little link here and it'll tell you about that. My drivers are all set up for Anaconda and Python, and unfortunately they're different versions than what this requires. Hopefully, again, that's something they'll address as they release this. And there doesn't seem to be an easy way to tweak that other than uninstalling and installing drivers. And if you've done anything with Python and Anaconda and trying to get everything configured on a Windows machine to use GPU, you know that once you get it working, you really don't want to mess around with it because it might not work anymore. So anyway, I'm going to use a local CPU environment. That's going to be a little slower. My experience with the GPU is it's about 10 times as fast, and I've just got a RTX 2060, an NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060, which is not a high-end GPU, but it is a GPU that you can actually use. And so if you're going to do a lot of machine learning, especially with images, GPUs are always useful. All right, so we're just going to use the local CPU instead, and we'll just hit next step. Microsoft does a great job of making this kind of like a wizard that you just go through and select different things. All right, the first thing it wants to know, remember in our machine learning model, we got to pick our data. Well, the problem is we got to go prepare our data first, which means we got to go select it. So let's go do that. So over here, now I have a little Chrome extension that lets me go and download images. So I'm going to say stop signs here. and I am going to download some of these. And I've got this image downloader extension. I'm not advertising that. If you want to use it, great. It's an easy way to go get data, and we're getting the images at thumbnail size. So this, and I'm doing that mainly for speed reasons, but basically I'm going to go through here and select all the images that I want. I'm going to get rid of things that I don't think are representative, like this or yellow. I'm going to get rid of some of those. And so I'm going to go through and work through that list, and for you, that's just going to take a couple of seconds. Well, it turns out when I hit the resume button on Camtasia, guess what? My extension goes away, my little plug-in for image selection. So you can fast forward over this part if you don't want to sit here and watch me select these, but I'll try to chatter a little bit while I'm doing this. Remember that you're looking for representative stop signs, things that you would actually see out there. And while some of these are that, you really don't want to train a model to recognize this as a stop sign. Now, you could argue that maybe you need to do that. Depends on your use case. But I am going to go through here and eliminate a lot of these, especially like the do not enter signs, and the stop signs that have additional text on them. We're just going to get rid of these. And remember, we're trying to get representative data. Certainly orange cones are not that. Yeah, what do we do with that? Well, it's got a slow and a stop. I really don't want it learning that. So we want it keying up on the stop sign. You could argue that you might ought to keep this in here because you might see both of those like that, but that's up to you. So this is the advantage of doing this with machine learning, is you can play around with this, and Microsoft's made it really easy to do. So let's keep going. And again, apologize for the time it takes to do this. You will find in machine learning that most of your time in your project is spent with the data, either preparing the data or analyzing data. So get used to it. It's not like regular software development where you spend most of your time in code. You're going to spend most of your time dealing with data like this. Now, I'm not, before, when I did this with Python and Anaconda, I had to make sure that all my images were the same size. I think Microsoft's taking care of a lot of that for you. Don't know all the details on this yet because I'm just new to it myself. But in any case, we're going to call this stop signs. It's going to end up over in the old download folder, so I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And it's going to warn me, and yeah, whatever. Go ahead. And then, so there it is. There's all my stop sign images. And now I need yield signs, right? Because we're going to do both. So you get to watch me sit here and go through those as well. You can get more images than what I picked up here. But this is a good little set for this example just to show you how this all works. So let's do it. Let's go ahead and grab our yield signs now. So we don't want that, don't want that. Certainly don't want that. Not liking that too much. Nope. You can see that it's kind of arbitrary. It's like, well, wait, what decision process are you making? Well, I want things that are representative as of what yield signs might look like, and also I know enough about neural nets to know that it's going to pick up on certain things, like maybe that text, or maybe this shape, or the color. And so part of this is you just get some experience in working with the data and working with the models, and it all tends to turn out okay for you if you're willing to spend some time on it. Lots of yield signs here, so none of those. And nope, and nope, and nope. Nope, not even. That would be really confusing to the neural network if you told them both of those were yield signs. Say, wait a minute, you told me something different. So let's just keep on going here. I guess I'm going with the more red and white yield signs. I'm not really interested in the old old style yellow ones, even though those may appear in places. Again, you get to decide. You get to decide how you want to train the model. So remember that the model, not loving that one either. Nope. These are really the pictures I really want, because you can kind of imagine a self-driving car that was trying to pick out yield or stop, and you'll see here that this probably isn't good enough to go trust your life in a self-driving car on. That's why we don't have them out on the road yet. It's going to take a while to get everything going in such a way that we can really feel pretty safe. All right, so we got rid of all those, and we're going to download those into a folder called yield signs. Now, the other thing we need to do is we need to hold out some of this data, or we'd have to go get some additional data. And because we're grabbing it through a Google search, it's a lot easier to just, hopefully it did it. It's a lot easier to just deal with that right up front. So let me see. Oops. Let's go over here in our downloads folder. And we got yield signs, and there they are. There's our yield signs. Wonderful. Looks like we got some stuff in here we don't want. I don't know how those slipped through. So I'm going to go delete those. I might have to go through these again. Sorry. Yeah, these don't look too good. I'm going to clean up. These are all pretty good. They're all okay. Don't think so. Nope. Nope. And the rest of them look pretty good. All right. And then, what about our stop signs? We got stop signs over here. Oh man, we don't want to learn that kind of stuff. So I don't know how that's slipping through. I think maybe that extension's doing some wonky stuff. So again, you gotta clean your data up. So we're doing data preparation right now. We're just doing a review here, making sure this all really looks the way we want it to. We don't want slow. Get rid of that one. And these are kind of, a little bit tricky because you don't really see stop signs out in the wild, so to speak, that look like this. They tend to look like this, right? All right, you see anything else in there we need to get rid of? Well, these look a little round, but hopefully it'll be able to figure out the difference there. And I'm probably not going to do that. Let's delete that one. All right, good. So let's hold out some. What we're going to do now is we're going to move these folders over. So I'm going to grab these two folders, and we are going to copy these and put them over here in this other directory. And we'll put them in the ML folder here. And let's just paste those in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy them again. And the reason is because I need to have training data and test data both. And so we are going to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and paste those in. And we'll call this stop signs. This is going to be our test data. So we're gonna hold out some of the data to test the machine learning model once we develop it. And we can't test it with what we trained it on, because it's already seen all of that. So you gotta, if you want to see how well your model's doing, you got to give it things that it hasn't seen yet that are things that you want to classify. In this case, stop signs and yield signs. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold on to about 10 of these. So I'm just going to arbitrarily pick. Well, I'm not arbitrary. We don't like that one, do we? So I'm going to mainly pick the ones that look like they're the ones out on the street. Okay, so here. So here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we are going to get rid of all the rest of these. So is that good? So we're going to hold out 10 and get rid of the rest. This is, remember, our test data. So we're going to, We're going to validate that we got good data, and we'll do a similar thing with the yield sign. So let's grab the let's grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I don't want that one. Get rid of that anyway. And let's pull all these out and delete those. And then let's go clean up some more of our data. Again, you're like, hey, can't we just move on? Well, your model is going to learn what you give it, and so you better give it the right thing to learn. Because if you don't, then, well, you're going to get some wonky results. So let's look at our stop signs again real quick. Don't like this one. Whack that. Don't like this one. And yeah, I'm sure I'm going to miss some in here. And then we're going to delete the last 10 because those are the ones that are in our 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. These are the ones that are over in our test set. So we don't want to train on those. So we're going to delete those, get those out of there. And okay, well, not this kind. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe you see street signs like that. I don't. I see them, like this. So anyway, all right, let's go back to the yield signs and make sure that we delete we need to delete our test samples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Bye-bye. And I think I deleted that one, so I'm going to get rid of that one too. I'm not doing a very good job of being very methodical with the data, which I really need to be. But I'm trying to kind of rush through this a little bit so that we can get to how this actually works. So again, just cleaning up our training set. I don't really like that one. Don't like that one. All right, those, you visually look at those all look like yield signs, don't they? We don't need that in there, whatever that is. A little cruft. Let's delete that. Darn it, I didn't want to go away. All right, and we don't need stars. Delete that. Obviously, my filtering thing here just did not work. So go away. I don't want that. So maybe you'll find a better utility for dealing with your data. Having good data tools is really essential to what you're doing. So again, let's do one final check. Again, just to make sure we're good here. So we got yield signs. Those are the ones we want to train on. That's our training set. Probably should have called it train. Let's just be clear and do that. So training, and then stop signs. Let's open that up, make sure we're good on this set. Looks pretty good. Pretty good. Some of those you'll never see out in the wild, but I don't know if I love that one. Let's whack that. Arbitrary, right? It learns your biases is essentially what happens, right? So you say you don't like this one, and then you find out that out there's a bunch of them like that, then you got a problem. Okay, here's our test set. Okay, where I think we're good with that. And here's our stop signs test. Yep, we're good with that. 10 of those. All right, great. Wow. Spent a lot of time prepping the data. Well, not actually a whole lot. You will spend days and days in a lot of cases. And we're doing a small amount. I just did a run with this where I was doing about 4,000 images, and it took a while. It took a while to work through that much data. That's why your GPU is always useful to have. So, all right, so here we are on the data screen. So what it wants, it says select a folder which contains all of your images. This folder should organize your photos into separate labeled subfolders. All right, so we got to fix that. So let's go back over here. So what it wants is yeah, so what it really wants is this. not stop yield. So we're going to go, let's create a new folder. Stop yield data. And we are going to put the training data underneath that. Now what it wants is it wants you to do this. Let me just stop it. It wants you to do this where this folder name is the label that you want to use. And we want this to be called stop. So we'll just call it stop sign or stop sign. And we'll call this one yield sign. Now, normally you might have to go through and do a lot of labeling and put things in a file, like in a CSV file with a pointer to the, they've really made this a lot easier. It's like, hey, if you're doing image classification, put all the things that are alike that you want in one category in one folder, and you can have as many folders as you want. So we could do stop signs, yield signs, do not enter signs, whatever we wanted. We just need to have the signs in a separate folder, and remember to set up your test data as well. Okay, so we've got this sitting in stop yield data, and the labels are stop sign and yield sign. That's what it's going to use. So pretty simple. We go out here and just say, okay, so let's go do it. Let's go get it. And boy, why do I bury these so deep? Just make it hard on myself. So it's stop yield data. There it is. And it has immediately said, okay, you got 172 stop signs and you got 58 yield signs. That's probably not a real good idea. We probably ought to have something a little bit similar. And I'm seeing stuff in here I do not like with those stop signs. What is going on? Let's go check. I don't see those in here. Maybe I didn't go far enough down. And there's some more garbage in there. Well, I don't know. I don't see those. So, oh, there's that one. Let's get rid of that. That was good. This could cause all kinds of grief here, so I might have to reselect the folder. Remember, we're dealing with pre-release software, so I want to catch that other one. This is where you got to really spend your time with the data, and I know I'm rushing through this real quick. So where's that stop part? I know I'm missing it. Don't need stop right here program. Get rid of that. Isn't this fun, watching me mess with data? That's your life in machine learning. That's what it's all about. All right, whatever. We're going to go with it the way it is, and hopefully, let's do this. I'm just going to reselect it because I'm worried that because I deleted a few files out of there, that it's going to get confused. So, don't know if the programmer took that into account or not, right? I might not have if I were writing the code. So let's do stop yield data again. And okay, whatever. We'll see if it can handle it. Okay, now, so all I did was hit next, right? So I just hit next step here. And now we just hit start training. Now this is the cool part about this model builder. It's going to go out and try several different models, and it's going to see if it can figure out which ones are the best, and it's going to do all the parameters for you, the hyperparameter setting, and then it's going to come back and say this is the best one, and here's the results. And I can't tell you how wonderful that is. That is just awesome that you can do that, because otherwise you're going to have to do all that. You're going to have to sit here and write code that would set up the different models and the different parameters and try different things out. And yeah, it takes a lot of work to do that. So this is taking a lot away. And some people may feel like, well, yeah, but it's also taking a lot of control away from me that I want to hang on to. And you'll have to judge for yourself as to whether that's really true or not. So I'm going to go ahead and start training. And you'll see some stuff going on down here in the console. And off we go, right? So it's off training. So it has selected a machine learning model, and it is training that model with the data that we provided. And so, what do we have? 250 samples or something like that? 214 apparently. So, and it said, okay, this one got that. See, it's trying different things. And it's just going to keep doing that until it settles on what it thinks is the best one. So now we're going to do a multi-class classifier. And here we go again. Just going to try that one out. Let's see what it comes up with. Pretty cool. About like watching paint dry, isn't it? 208. Okay, it's thinking about that one. And it's saying, well, I got a 91 accuracy on that, so I'm going to go try some other things here. So off it goes again. So rather than, I'll just pause this and come back and it'll be done. All right, here we are. So we got done. It got through all the different iterations, and it tells you up here that it took 396 seconds to do all of that, the different permutations with all the different parameters, and it came back and it said, I can give you 98.99% accuracy, which is awesome, using the image classification, which it turns out was the first iteration that it did. But it had to go try all the other ones anyway. All right, so that's good. That's awesome. All right, so let's go on to the next step. By the way, here it tells you the model. Best model is DNN, neural network, with ResNet 50. ResNet 50 is a common image classification model that's out there. And it told you how many it trained, and it did the one model and tried all the different parameters is what it was doing. All right, next step. Okay, so here we go. We got to go try it out. So let's pick an image. And we will go pick an image out of our test set. And so we jump over here and off we go into the test set. Let's try yield signs. Well, we'll throw it that one. And it's thinking about it, using the model that it just trained, and it said it's a 97% chance that's a yield sign and 3% chance it's a stop sign. Okay, that's great. Let's try another one. This is a little bit more challenging. We got other stuff going on in this image, but it says I'm 81% sure that that's a yield sign. Try another image and give it a softball. Yeah, it ought to get this one. 100% yield sign, it says. And then finally, let's do this one. It's got the other little sign on it. 95%. All right, let's go try our stop signs and see what it does with those. Stop signs test. Let's do the ones with the railroad crossing and 2 stop signs. Let's see what it thinks about that. 99% stop sign. And this has got some other stuff on it. Pretty good. Works pretty good. Now, we've given it a pretty simple problem to solve, right? But you can see that it's not 100% on every one. That's machine learning. The model, it's built in. It's built up based on the training data that you gave it, what to do. And here we go. How about this one? So far, we didn't see it predicting a yield sign when it wasn't. So that's great. That's awesome. All right, last step. So our last step is deploy this thing and actually make it work. So it's real easy. It's one button click, add to solution, and it's going to come out here and write some code for you. Basically, it's going to create this console app. And here's the model. This takes care of loading the model and everything. And this is this is just a program that's going to run, and it's going to actually do a prediction. And so what I'm going to do is go change this to one of the test data items. So let's grab this one here, and let's grab the path first. I'm sure there's an easier way to do this. Somebody needs to do a tricks and tips Windows copying files video or something like that. Alright, and then let's go get that image. I wanted to do this one here, so do a little renaming on that and do Control A, Control C. Drop that in right there. So this is your predictor. It's going to use this image, and right here it's going to go do the predict. And so where's this consume model code? That's what's sitting over here in this other this other project that it created for you, and then it's going to tell you the results. And so what we're going to do is change the solution properties so that we can start this console app right here. So the startup is not going to be stop yield, it's going to be this one. And we hit OK, and then we run it. And now in C# we are running the prediction. Here it goes. And there it is. Okay, so the way this works is it's showing you both values just like it was on the previous screen. And so it says that I'm 91% confident that that's a stop sign. So the predicted label value is stop sign with 91% and then 8% that it might be a yield sign. And then you can just change that image to whatever you'd like, right? You can put whichever one in there that you'd like and see what happens. So I hope you have enjoyed, I hope you've been able to follow along on this and get this working. It is just really neat that Microsoft has provided this capability with ML.NET. I'm looking forward to using it some more and sharing some additional learnings with some of the other use cases that are out there that it can do as well. So thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like the video. I always appreciate your comments, and check out ML.NET from Microsoft. Thanks.